Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. A court has heard a teenage boy was forced to wrestle a male intruder off his mother in a terrifying home invasion in Ravenswood in 2021. The attack left another man dead and the mother fighting for life. Kerry Lee Whiting stands accused of murder and attempted murder, his long-awaited trial beginning today.
It's an attack which shocked the community and sparked a week-long manhunt. 2.5 years on, the Crown has opened its case against Kerry Lee Whiting, accusing him of acting in a frenzy when he stabbed ex-partner Natalie Joyce Harris and her new boyfriend, Adrian Paul Main. Prosecution alleges Mr Whiting didn't take kindly to news Miss Harris had a new partner and had made threats against Mr Main. The pair was in bed together in Miss Harris's Ravenswood home when it's claimed they were set upon in the early hours of November 25, 2021. Mr Main suffering 20 knife wounds, one of them piercing a lung. He died at the scene. Ms Harris was stabbed in the chest, neck and hand. The prosecution says the sheer number of wounds suffered by the couple meant Mr Whiting could only have intended to kill them both. Ms Harris's 16-year-old son forced to come to the rescue. Allegedly recognising his father, he yelled, "That's my mum, what are you doing?" Prosecution adding Mr Whiting went on the run because he knew what he'd done and wanted to hide from authorities. In a brief opening reply, the defence says its case is simple. Mr Whiting wasn't at the property that evening and no forensic evidence found at the scene can place him there. The trial is expected to run for 3 weeks. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
The true impact of the housing crisis is being felt across the state's east coast, a dire lack of properties in the area, resulting in renters facing homelessness. Short stay accommodation is being blamed, with the government backing a levy to regulate the sector, despite continued criticism of the policy.
With his lease on a Bicheno house about to expire, David's having trouble finding anywhere else that's close.
The nearest sort of rentals that I've heard of is down near Triabunna somewhere or up near St Helens. I can't drive from St Helens or Triabunna to work every day and home every night and back 7 days a week.
While there's around 400 short-stay rental permits for the Glamorgan Spring Bay Council area, realestate.com.au says there's no available rentals in Bicheno.
I've tried to do what I can do and I'm up against a brick wall. It's either, the only option is to be homeless.
There's no doubt that properties in Bicheno that were formerly long-term rentals have been converted to short stay. It's driving people that would like to live in Bicheno away.
The government's proposing a 5% levy on short stay properties. Unfortunately, that solution hasn't pleased either end of the Airbnb debate.
We really need a ban on entire properties being converted to short stay accommodation.
We're vying for visitors from every other state and territory, but also overseas. So we need to make ourselves as competitive as possible.
Despite criticism of the policy, the Treasurer says it will be delivered, with mainland and international investors forming most of the group who'll be hit, and the revenue funding stamp duty concessions for Tasmanian first home buyers.
That's why we're doing this. We're implementing these policies to see a return of aspiration, a return of that goal seeking.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Hydro Tasmania has welcomed federal government approval to start strengthening Lake Peter's Edgar Dam. The company will put forward environmental controls such as restricting truck movements to daylight and keeping the site footprint to a minimum. The Greens say a more thorough environmental assessment is required.
We can all agree that the Tasmanian Wilderness World Heritage Area is absolutely invaluable. So any project that is going ahead there has to have the highest assessment criteria applied.
A federal department spokesperson said the project was rigorously assessed and there'll be no significant impacts if avoidance and mitigation measures are followed. South Hobart residents had a rude awakening this morning after a family garage and room above went up in flames around 5 o'clock. Authorities attending the Anglesey Street home to find heavy smoke billowing from the property. All residents managed to get out safely. The cause of the blaze remains undetermined at this point. The sound of a gunshot had Herdsman's Cove residents on alert last night. A front window of a home was hit and smashed. Luckily, no one was injured despite residents being home at the time. Police arrested a 31-year-old man. He's since been charged with unrelated firearm offences. Anyone who has more information should contact police. Another senior figure is departing Tasmania's public service. Current Justice Department Secretary Gina Webster will take leave before finishing at the end of next month. She's served in the role for nearly 5 years, with a short spell as Communities Secretary prior. Existing community facilities will be placed under added strain with a predicted surge in the number of people playing AFL in Tasmania as the Devils enter the league. Clubs and local councils are being put on notice now, with funding on the table to prepare for the influx.
From a boggy field with poor lighting to a ground that's considered the cream of the crop, a $500,000 overhaul of Georgetown Football Club has brought with it an influx of fresh talent.
Because of the ground, people are willing to travel to train and play and to be part of our club.
The new and improved Blue Gum Park winning the club and council the Ken Gannon Community Facilities Award.
Just to have the pride in the facility, we've seen increases in crowds and that type of thing, that we've seen the locals come back to football, which has been really good.
Other clubs have a chance to replicate some of Georgetown's success by putting their hands up for a share of $1.5 million in funding that's being made available over the next 3 years to be put towards anything from lighting upgrades to more spectator seating. It's a move by the AFL to get clubs on the front foot.
We are going to really be at the seams when it comes to participants and access to facilities, and that's why we really need to invest now in our community facilities right across Tasmania.
Just as the Jackies have fuelled a surge in popularity for basketball, overwhelming limited community courts, the Devils are expected to do the same for footy. The number of Tasmanians playing the game expected to jump from around 15,000 to 28,000 by 2028.
So looking particularly at things like the carrying capacity of grounds, lighting at grounds is up to scratch, so we can have more flexibility with fixturing and training. Also looking at the gender neutral change facilities, so these spaces are safe and welcoming for everyone.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
"30 guns were surrendered to Tasmania Police over the weekend as part of a statewide mobile amnesty drive. 11 shotguns, 8 rifles and 1 air rifle were among the weapons handed over, along with a significant amount of ammunition. A permanent firearms amnesty remains in place. Anyone with unwanted or illegal guns can surrender them to police at any time without fear of prosecution. Tasmania's emergency service members are answering the call to top up urgently needed winter blood supplies. With demand growing nationwide, staff took time out from their busy days to help restock.
Their job is to protect the community, and this action is no different. Tasmania's frontline workers are taking a break from regular duties to perform another life-saving gesture.
This blood drive will run for 3 months, so we've got all of winter to get as many donations from these wonderful emergency services workers.
The annual campaign is a critical reminder of the importance of blood donations, with Lifeblood needing over 30,000 blood and plasma donations around the country each week, and our personnel knowing the situation all too well.
Every blood donation can save up to 3 lives, and emergency services personnel see firsthand how important these blood donations are to people in our Tasmanian community.
Attending critical incidents, serious crashes and things of that nature, we can see the value of blood and also the need for it.
Today's drive also a chance to get the blood pumping with some friendly competition to see which organisation can donate the most, and there was no hiding the rivalry.
For the last 2 years straight, TasFire have won the Emergency Services Blood Challenge. So we're trying to get the 3rd time lucky this year.
Tasmanians who would like to roll up their sleeves can donate at Lifeblood centres in Hobart, Devonport, Burnie and Launceston. Rebecca Gaidaneris at 7 Tasmania News.
Former Tasmanian Premier Peter Gutwein is gearing up to tackle his mammoth 350-kilometre walk this weekend, trekking from the state's top to the bottom. He's raising awareness and $50,000 for Tasmania's migrant and refugee communities.
This is about starting a positive conversation about the contribution that migrants make to our society and to our economy.
I think we're on the path to doing better, and we just need more awareness and fundraising around it.
The Walk Step Up Together journey will start in Burnie and end in Glenorchy, with Mr Gutwin hoping to cover 50k's a day. A major summer tournament is returning to its rightful home after a 2-year stint elsewhere. Construction on the Launceston Tennis Centre's multi-million-dollar redevelopment is underway, paving the way for its return.
Game, set, match. The Launceston International is almost home.
We just can't wait for this to return. We can't wait for this to be our northern base, and we can't wait to keep growing tennis in the north.
After spending the past 2 years tacked onto the Burnie International,
the Launceston International was lost because of the amenities and the facilities that were required as a part of the accreditation.
the professional tennis tournament will return in 2025, bringing some of the world's best back to Launceston.
World-class athletes, like there's players that are playing the French Open right now that have played on these courts here in Launceston.
Tennis fans will absolutely be over the moon to see top-level tennis being played again in Launceston.
The court now set, construction officially underway, serving up a $3.5 million redevelopment, boasting a new state-of-the-art clubhouse to act as the centre's hub.
The facility and the user experience for players has been a critical component of being able to secure the facility.
We can see a lot of investment going into this site with court resurfacing. We're looking to upgrade the lights as well.
Hoping to inspire more young tennis stars to pick up a racket.
Last 12 months we had almost 200,000 hours of court hire booked. We've got amazing school numbers with kids getting a taste of tennis.
A grand slam for generations to come. Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's viral sensation Neil the Seal is continuing to make a splash on social media as he enjoys some downtime on land. Today, the southern elephant seal was making the most of his R&R, spotted twiddling his fins in the sun. We can't tell you where we found him to protect his whereabouts. The public is reminded to keep well clear if they come across Neil and avoid sharing his location online. Classic car owners are in for a treat. New changes are taking effect, allowing drivers to put their personality on display through personalised plates. The move follows a relaxing of rules surrounding these standardised special interest plates.
They'll soon be able to have their own custom plates on there. It's great that they're going to be able to dust them off and whatnot, and really add to their vehicles.
Special interest plate has never been a particularly good looking plate on the car, so yeah, we'll be pleased to show the cars off.
There are an estimated 8,800 special interest vehicles registered in Tasmania. The state's peak driving body is calling on motorists to be extra cautious at dawn and dusk, with a rise in animal roadkill incidents. Rescue kits have been gifted to Bonarong in a bid to save injured wildlife.
100 rescue kits aim to help save precious animal lives.
It's high-vis vests, scissors, antibacterial wipes, and a bag that they can put joeys in to make sure that they're kept safe and in a dark environment.
The donation a response to a concerning increase in injured wildlife incidents reported to the RACT over the past 3 months. 7-month-old Bingo, one of a lucky few, after her mum was found deceased, hit by a car.
All over the state, every single night, there are joeys dying of trauma, of starvation, of cold, as well as, of course, parents suffering after being hit by cars.
An estimated 80% of wildlife insurance claims involve wallabies and kangaroos, mostly at night, 41% happening between 6 and 10 p.m. The Tasman, Bass and Midlands highways, the most prevalent for incidents.
If you look at our hotspots for rescues, they're normally in more city areas where an animal's not hit as hard, so it's more likely to survive.
RACT analysis indicates there'll be just under 4,000 wildlife-related vehicle incidents recorded by the end of the year. That's equating to around $14 million in damage. The simple message, loud and clear.
If you're on the road between dusk and dawn, make sure you slow down and keep an eye out for wildlife.
So more furry friends stay safe and survive. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
There's a huge Premier League hockey drought on the verge of breaking as University women chase the club's first championship in 40 years. A mix of international talent and youth guiding the team to a 7-0 victory in their 7th straight win to start the season.
It's really nice to have some wins. Like last season we worked really hard and we can see that the development's finally paying off this season.
It takes time. The club sitting on top of the ladder after probably the first time in 4 decades is just a huge turnaround.
They can't afford to let up, sitting just 1 point ahead of second-placed Northwest grads. Fresh off the back of the G League Elite Camp, Burnie's Taryn Armstrong is turning his hand to impressing scouts across the Atlantic. Named on the all-tournament team at Eurocamp in Italy, the continent's premier scouting event, it's a key opportunity for 18 to 22-year-old NBA draft hopefuls, watched closely by coaches. SFL selectors have quite a headache ahead of the intrastate series against the Northwest, needing to whittle down the men's and under-18 sides to the final 22-man squads before Saturday's series opener.
This year with the guys that are playing seniors and some of the guys that are playing 18s.
The guys that are committed are pretty passionate about the SFL, passionate about representing their club and representing themselves.
The sides will be named later this week.
Good evening. Hobart 17 today was 5 above the June average. Launceston 4 above normal with 17 and 17 the maximum also in Devonport and Burnie. 19 was the state's high recorded at St Helens as fog started the day over many districts. Lowhead and Friendly Beaches 17, 16 today at Ouse and Flinders Island. Smithton, Strawn and Grove all 15. King Island reached 14 degrees. Just a few light showers over the west today. A scattered low cloud moved over. High cloud also streaming past as well. A broad area of mid to high level cloud moved across the eastern states. Convective cloud spotted over Cape York and the top end. Cumulus cloud extends into South Australia. Tomorrow, a large high pressure system is the focal point with surface troughs over inland Queensland and South Australia. Winds south-southwesterly at 10 to 20 knots, more variable over northern waters and the southwest lakes. Now some recent rain in the east. We have a minor flood warning for the South Esk River at Lewis Hill and Fingal and for the St Paul's River as well. Forecast for tomorrow, 15 and partly cloudy in Hobart, Geefston the same, 13 the top for Bothwell. Launceston, a high of 17 degrees, a cloudy day, cloudy for Devonport, same number, and 16 the top for Cressy. Burnie tomorrow, 17 degrees and partly cloudy, early shower clearing from Strawn, 14 the maximum and 15 the high for Curry on King Island. 15 also for St Helens, Swansea and Orford, all partly cloudy down the east coast. On Thursday, fine and partly cloudy, temperatures in the mid-teens, a possible shower over the east and Bass Strait Islands on Friday, otherwise fine. And on Saturday, fine again until showers develop over the west during the day. Sunny in Perth, some cloud over Adelaide and Melbourne tomorrow. Rain increasing and just 14 for Canberra. Rain on the way also in Sydney. Sunny weather for Brisbane and points further north. Current conditions fine but a little bit cloudy. 11 in Hobart and Devonport and 10 degrees in Launceston. Kim, I noticed your story earlier tonight about former Premier Peter Gutwin's big fundraising walk that gets underway this weekend. I actually offered to go with him on the trek from Burnie to Glenorchy, but he said, Murph, I've only got 7 days, not 2 months. Wasn't really nice.
How terrible. That is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good night.